Coming up on Sunday night, TNA will have their Bound for Glory pay-per-view coming up, and three-way match to be the main event. It will be Kurt Angle taking on Mr. Anderson and Jeff Hardy. And joining me right now is Kurt Angle for a few minutes here on AOL. So, Kurt, high expectations for the match. You always, expect a lot of your matches. So, what are your expectations for the main event for Bound for Glory?
Well, I do everything I can. I put a lot of pressure on myself to have the best match of the night. That's what I get paid a lot of money to do. I wrestled Mr. Anderson. I wrestled Jeff Hardy. They happen to be two of my best matches this past year, so I expect this match to even be better. I want to steal the show. I want to have the match of the year, and that's we all have those high expectations. So going into Bound for Glory, I think every match. Every one of our guys wants to have the best match, so it's going to be a very competitive night. A lot of guys are going to do things they necessarily don't do. God forbid they get injured, but that's what we do. We put our bodies on the line. I remember last year, Bound for Glory, we had a guy named Christopher, the Fallen Angel. He fell about 20 feet right onto his head off of a X Division rope. Just for a spot, landed right on his head. I thought he was dead. But those are the kind of risks we take, and it's because it's Bound for Glory. It's our biggest pay-per-view.
A lot more difficult for three people being in a match?
Yeah, it's the hard part about wrestling in three ways or four ways or anything like that is you all have to have the perfect timing. And, in the match, you like to be able to give a signal or know what you're doing at that particular time. When you have three guys, two guys might be together, but the other guy's across the other side of the ring, so you're not always going to be on the same page. So you really have to format the match and make sure you don't want to say choreograph, but make sure the timing is right so everybody knows what we're doing at the right time. And that's the hardest part about having a triple threat.
Some other notes when it comes to TNA. What's your thoughts about where the company is right now? There's been a couple different directions as of late. Seems like TNA is taking a little bit more of a serious tone. What do you like about the direction right now?
I like the fact that we're bringing in the right people. We're bringing in some major players. We're taking risks. And that's because we have the money to do it, thank God. Honestly, TNA is here to stay. It's not a fly-by-night company. We've worked very hard 8 years. I've been in it over 4. And we've gone from this really small, little, tiny company out of Nashville to being a world-renowned company in over 70 countries. We're signing TV deals with countries. We just signed one with Thailand. I'm going there this week for a week to close a TV deal. And it's just the more revenue we bring in with those TV deals, the more money we make, the bigger the company gets. Our house shows are up 30%. Our merchandise is up about, I think, 700%. TNA is on its way to being another WWE, but it's going to take some time.
You mentioned new people coming into the company. Mickie James just joined the company. Bruce Pritchard's now working behind the scenes. He was a long time with WWE. What exactly do you think they bring to the table?
Bruce Pritchard, he brings experience. Over 20 years with WWE, he knows Vince McMahon in and out. He knows what he thinks. He knows the decisions he makes. Bruce Pritchard is a great addition. I think he's going to help out a lot creatively. I think he's going to help out with the booking. Mickie James, one of the best female wrestlers. I think her and wrestlers like Angelina are going to have great matches. She's also she has a singing career. She has a CD out right now. I know she's pushing that really hard, but she's a great addition to our Knockouts division that happens to be the best women's division in the world.
As for some other people, there's been a lot of talk. Obviously, you worked closely in the past with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas about them. And then now Chris Jericho is actually a free agent as well. There's always going to be people talking about that. What's your thoughts about those guys in maybe a role in TNA?
I believe that's very possible. I've been talking about Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas for the past year and a half. TNA is considering that, and I'd love to bring Team Angle back. Obviously, it wouldn't be called Team Angle, but I'd love to bring those guys back, give them the shot they never had in the other company. Chris Jericho, on the other hand, we've talked to him. We almost had him signed. Obviously, he went back to WWE, but he's going to be a free agent, and God willing, we'll be able to get him in. He might not be on a full-time basis, but I'll take Chris Jericho part-time over anything. I mean, he is one of the best wrestlers today.
Do you help with the recruiting process?
I try to. I try to do the relay thing, you know, talk to some of the wrestlers, get a feel, bring it back to Creator, bring it back to Dixie Carter and the Carter family, let them know how I feel about it so they kind of get my advice. I ask them what they need, what they want, how much money they have for these certain athletes, and I try to, you know, make it work if I can, God willing. So a guy like Chris Jericho, he's not going to come in for a small bit of money. Chris Jericho is a major player, and he's proven himself over and over and over again. So getting someone like him, we're going to have to sign a pretty big deal.
How's your health right now?
I'm 100%. I did dislocate my ribs last month in my match with Jeff Hardy at No Surrender, but right now I feel as good as I've ever felt. So you know, I've been talking about retirement, and if I lose at Bound for Glory, I will retire. You know, I just signed another one-year deal extension with TNA, and I'd like to continue on and just see how I feel next year, and I'll make my decision. I've made it perfectly clear to every company in the world that if I come back after next year, I'll probably most likely go part-time. I'm doing movies now. I have my Angle Food Company, which is kurtanglefoods.com if you want to go on the internet and check it out. So I've been very busy doing that. I really don't have much spare time. I'm either doing media for all three, or I'm working Angle Foods down at the warehouse, or going on the road promoting it, promoting my movies. I have 4 coming out in early 2011 in theaters. And obviously TNA, I'm working it, trying to make this company as big as it possibly can get. And thank God this last 4 years have been quite a ride, because I play a much bigger role in a smaller company, and I feel much more important.
Last thing, because of your competitive nature, are you ready to wind down? Can you do that, or is that going to be difficult for you?
That's why I said I'll probably go part-time. I don't think I could leave it entirely. Although financially, I could quit today, thank God for that. I love wrestling. I love, you know, I'll give you an example. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, he calls me all the time. He misses it so much. He wishes he could come back and just do a few more matches, you know, 6 or 7 matches. But he doesn't have the time. He's doing movie after movie, but he watches and he studies, and he'll call me. He'll give me advice on what I did right or what I did wrong. He was one of my, you know, guys that I looked up to when I was in WWE. And, you know, I take his advice very seriously. And, you know, when I see what he's doing, how he is struggling, and I know that my next move is going to go into acting and doing Angle Foods as well, I know that the acting part is going to take a full-time schedule to be as good as I possibly can get. So I know how The Rock's feeling, and I'm feeling the same way, but at the same time, I'd really like to still contribute to TNA.
Well, speaking of TNA, Bound for Glory pay-per-view, it's coming up this Sunday night. Main event, Kurt Angle, Mr. Anderson, Jeff Hardy, triple threat for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Thanks for the time, Kurt. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.